Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to my channel with JR of Talents. And in today's video, we are going to look at the chapter Force and Laws of Motion. It's the chapter 9 of physics and it's of NCRT class 9. So first, let's start with the basics of the chapter. So we have already learned what is force in the previous classes. So let's get a brief introduction to force at first. Force is an effort that changes the state of an object at rest or at motion. It can change an object's direction and velocity. Force can also change the shape of an object. So this would be the basic definition of force. And you would be also knowing about the next type of forces, which are nothing but the balanced and unbalanced forces. When balanced forces are applied to an object, there will be no effective force acting on the object. Balanced forces do not cause a change in motion. Unbalanced forces acting on an object change its speed and or direction of motion. It moves in the direction of the force with the highest magnitude. For example, there's a game of tug of war. You might have played it before. So there are three members on one side of the rope and another three members on the other side. So first group is pulling with 300 newtons and the other group as well is pulling with the same force, that is 300 newtons. So what would be this type of force? This type of force would be nothing but a balanced force, as the force in both sides are equal. So the rope also won't move in either direction, it will stay constant. And the next type of force is unbalanced force. So in unbalanced, again the same tug of war game came to this place. So on one side the group is pulling with 400 newtons and the other side 300 newtons. So the rope is moving towards the group which is pulling with 400 newtons as they are using more force. So this is an unbalanced force. So now let's come to the next topic. The next topic that we have is the net force. Net force basically is nothing but the total force applied on an object. We can define it as when multiple forces act on a body, they can be resolved into one component known as the net force acting on the object. So, if a box is present in center and one person is pulling the box or pushing the box, let's take it as pushing the box with 5 newtons. And the other person is also pushing it from the opposite direction of the first person with the same 5 newtons. So this is a balanced force. In balanced force, the net force would always be 0 newtons. Let's take another example of an unbalanced force now. So one person is pushing the box with 7 newtons and other person is pushing the same box in the opposite direction with 5 newtons. So what would be the net force acting on it? It would be nothing but 2 newtons. So net force is nothing but the total forces acted on an object. If they are in the same direction, the forces would get easily added up. But if they are acted on opposite direction, they should be subtracted. So this is the basic differentiation between the forces, the net force basically. If you take a ball, if you kick it, the ball goes very far, you can't even see it. So this is that force can make a stationary object to move. That is one effect of force. The second effect of force is that force can stop a moving object. So when you're riding a bicycle, when a truck suddenly comes opposite to you, what would you do? You would definitely apply the brakes. How will you apply the brakes? With the help of your hands. So you are using the muscular force there. So with the help of muscular force, you are going to stop it. So this is the basic example for it. And one more effect of force is that force can change the speed of a moving body. So again, let's take the same football. We are in a stadium. Imagine that we are in a stadium, football stadium. A ball is kicked by player A. So he has kicked it long before. No one has touched it till now. No one has touched the ball till now. So it's moving slowly. and you come there and kick the ball so that it goes to the goal post. You should make a goal, so you kicked it. So before, imagine that it was in some 5 kilometers per hour, and when you kick the ball, it started moving very quickly. So imagine that it is something 20 kilometers per hour. So it got rapidly changed. So that is again the help of the muscular force you use to change the force or the speed of the particular football. And another effect is that force can change the shape and size of an object. Take a sponge and just squeeze it. What happened to it? It just got crumbled before the sponge was filled with air inside its spaces. But when you squeezed it with the help of muscles, the muscles applied the muscular force on the sponge. So you have changed the shape as well as the size of the object. So these are the effects of force. Then comes our laws of motion. Laws of motion are one of the major discoveries by many scientists. So let's look at Newton's laws of motion in the next video. Stay tuned to WIBGR of Talents.